T lived with his grandmother in a tattered shack at the end of a narrow alley. His parents had died early, and his grandmother was blind in one eye. Their lives depended on collecting old bottles and beer cans. Each day passed with hardship, but love kept the two of them together. Every day, T wandered the streets, picking up bottles and cans to survive. At night, under the flickering streetlights, he would crouch on the pavement, completely engrossed in reading torn-up scraps of paper people had thrown away. He had no desk, no proper books, only a thin, hunched back and a burning desire to learn. Those ragged pieces of paper were a treasure, nurturing the dreams growing inside him. Even as he sat on the cold cement, bent over in the dark, T pursued knowledge with all his heart. One afternoon, while searching through roadside trash, T stumbled upon an old English book. The cover was gone, many pages were ripped and faded with time. But to T, it was a priceless treasure. He cherished every page, rereading them over and over again, copying each word onto scraps of paper he found. Even though he didn't understand everything, he tried hard to memorize each line. With no guidance, no dictionary, just determination and an extraordinary hunger to learn, the words in that book became his silent teacher, planting seeds of knowledge and hope in a boy surrounded by poverty. Every night, he would reread what he'd written, repeating it until he had memorized it all, believing it was the key to a whole new world. One afternoon, while digging through a pile of discarded textbooks near a school, T quietly sorted through the pages that were still intact. Suddenly, a voice rang out. "Why are you picking those up?" Startled, T looked up and saw a teacher standing before him. He lowered his head and softly replied, "I want to learn." The sentence was short, but so sincere it made the woman fall silent. She said nothing more, only looked at the thin boy holding a pile of tattered books tightly to his chest. The next day, she returned, holding 3 brand new books. She handed them to T and said, "If you really want to learn, I'll help you." That was the moment that changed T.I.'s life. A small light began to shine through the darkness of poverty. The care and belief of a stranger became his first spark of motivation, planting in him the faith that dreams, even those born from scraps of paper, deserve to be nurtured. From the day the teacher gave him the books and promised to help, T began a new journey. He was admitted into a night class for underprivileged children, a place with no fancy desks or uniforms, but filled with the light of knowledge and the kindness of dedicated teachers. During the day, T still wandered the alleys and streets, collecting cans and bottles to help his grandmother make ends meet. But when the sun set and the streetlights came on, he would rush to class, driven by a powerful thirst for learning. He was never late, no matter how tired, hungry, rainy, or cold it was. In class, T always sat at the front, taking careful notes. He learned quickly, remembered well, and tried twice as hard as the others. For T, every page of a book was a step closer to the future, a future he once thought was far away, but now felt within reach, thanks to his perseverance and the small but deeply human gesture of a teacher he barely knew. No one forced him. No one rewarded him. It was just T, armed with determination, fighting fate with education, one day at a time. Years passed since the first day he walked into that night class with torn sandals and hopeful eyes. From a scrawny boy picking up trash, T worked tirelessly, overcoming exam after exam, hardship after hardship. He studied day and night, seizing every moment to read, write, and revise. Each good grade wasn't about beating others, it was proof that he was on the right path, the path out of poverty's shadow. T consistently ranked among the top students in his class. His diligence and exceptional results earned him a special scholarship for students in need. And one day, the news arrived, T was accepted into a prestigious university, majoring in education. To others, college might seem ordinary. But for T, it was a dream come true. A child who once didn't have a clean notebook was now about to become an official university student. He didn't choose education for fame or money. He chose it because he wanted to return and help children like the one he once was. T knew not everyone gets the chance to study, but if he could become someone who gives that chance to others, then all his struggles would truly mean something. So he stepped onto the university campus, carrying with him a childhood filled with hardship, but also filled with dreams. On graduation day, T stepped onto the stage in a simple white shirt, no suit, no fancy tie like his classmates. Yet his eyes sparkled more brightly than any spotlight in the auditorium. It was the glow of pride, of years of effort finally rewarded, of a dream once thought unreachable now made real. Standing in front of hundreds, he held the microphone, paused for a moment, and then said slowly, "I used to sleep beside trash bins. Some nights I was so hungry, I curled up holding my stomach under a streetlight. But I never threw away my dream. I couldn't choose where I was born, but I chose where I would go." The auditorium fell silent. No one spoke. Then came the applause, long and heartfelt. Not for his grades or degree, but for the extraordinary willpower hidden behind his small frame. T never forgot the teacher who once handed him 3 books and a priceless belief. He never forgot the nights he stayed awake by the roadside, copying lines of English onto scrap paper. And most of all, he never forgot his grandmother, who raised him with all the love she had, even with only one eye to see the world. His bachelor's degree was not the final destination, but the start of a new journey, a journey of sowing knowledge, of lighting up hope for children like his former self. For T, success wasn't walking on a red carpet. It was paving a path for others who were still covered in mud. Years later, in a university lecture hall packed with students, the usual chatter faded as the door opened. A tall, lean man stepped in, gentle face, bright eyes, and a calm, warm voice. It was Teacher T. The boy who once crouched under a flickering street lamp, now standing tall as a university lecturer. None of the students could have guessed that their teacher once had no intact books, once copied letters onto scrap paper, once survived on what others threw away. But it was precisely that past that gave him deep empathy, unwavering perseverance, and above all, a passion to pass on the light of knowledge to others. Teacher T didn't just lecture. He listened, encouraged, and inspired, using his own life story to ignite hope. Students often said that just hearing him talk about rainy nights, dim streetlights, and those first 3 books was enough to warm their hearts and remind them that life still held so much promise. He never complained of poverty. Never blamed fate. The boy who lived beside trash and indifferent stairs never gave up. And the teacher now standing at the podium, facing admiring eyes, always kept those memories close. Not to mourn them, but to remember. If a child can rise from the ashes of poverty, then anyone can reach their dreams. Teacher T doesn't just teach knowledge, he lights up belief. A teacher who came from where no one believed, and now helps others believe in themselves.